Corvette, America's wild child on wheels. Hello and welcome to Automotive. Today we're putting the spotlight on an automotive legend, a car that embodies the American dream on wheels, the Corvette. This isn't just a car. It's a cultural icon, a symbol of freedom, power, and let's be honest, a touch of youthful rebellion. Let's start at the beginning, the 1950s, a time when rock and roll was new, and American muscle was flexing its biceps for the world to see. Chevrolet decided they needed something to rival the European sports cars that were lighting up the racetracks and the silver screens. Enter the Corvette, a low-slung fiberglass-bodied beauty that roared into the scene in 1953. Now, the Corvette has gone through multiple generations, but let's zero in on some highlights that have cemented its place in the annals of automotive history. The Cone, or first-generation Corvette, was more show than go. It looked the business, but had the performance credentials of an arthritic slug. That changed with the introduction of the V8 engine in 1955, transforming the Corvette into a genuine performance machine, a red-blooded American hero. Then came the C2 Stingray in the 60s, an absolute masterpiece. Pop-up headlights, a snarling big block V8 under the hood, and a design that was more about aerodynamics than aesthetics, although it managed to do both brilliantly. Driving one feels like you're sitting atop a rocket that could explode into a glorious fireball with a slight nudge of the accelerator. It was exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly mesmerizing. Of course, we can't forget the C3, which ran from 1968 to 1982, a period of excess and flamboyance. It was a time when the Corvette embraced its wild side with bold curves and daring designs that screamed, "Look at me." It became the poster child for what a muscle car should be, even if it did go a bit soft in the knees during the fuel crisis of the 70s. Fast forward to today, and we have the Seat, a mid-engine marvel that's rewritten the Corvette rulebook. It's sleeker, faster, and more sophisticated than ever, but it hasn't lost that brash, all-American spirit. The engine is now in the middle, sacrilege to purists, but a masterstroke of engineering. It can go from 0-69 mph in under 3 seconds, putting it in the Supercar league, but still costs a fraction of its European rivals. But let's not just talk specs. Driving a Corvette is an experience, and not always a graceful one. The older models especially are about as subtle as a punch to the face. The ride is harsh, the steering wheel is often as communicative as a stone, and the interior, well, calling it basic would be an insult to the word. Yet, there's something gloriously unrefined and brutally honest about it. It's a machine that demands to be driven hard and rewards you with pure, unadulterated driving joy. The exhaust note, particularly in the V8 models, is automotive rock and roll. It's the sound of freedom, rebellion, and raw power. It's the auditory equivalent of a bald eagle swooping down to snatch up a bass guitar and shred a solo on the hood. And let's not ignore the looks. The Corvette has always been a head-turner. Whether it's the classic swooping lines of the 50s models, the razor-sharp edges of the 60s and 70s, or the sleek modernity of the Seat, it grabs attention and refuses to let go. It's a rolling piece of Americana, like a denim jacket with patches and a pair of aviator sunglasses. Why does it matter? Because the Corvette represents something fundamental. It's not just about speed or design. It's about embodying the spirit of rebellion and the pursuit of fun. It's about defying expectations and doing it with flair. So, if you haven't experienced the raw, unfiltered joy of driving a Corvette, you're missing out on one of life's great pleasures. It's not perfect, far from it, but its imperfections are part of its charm. It's a bit rough around the edges, utterly fearless and irresistibly captivating. If this ride through the exhilarating world of the Chevrolet Corvette has revved up your excitement, hit that like button and subscribe to Automotive. Don't forget